Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? This is Dr. Nicole Brown, founder of thenursedolls.com. Now, I've had 30 years of nursing experience, and we're just coming off of Nurses Week. Oh my gosh, had an amazing time. I went to Miami. Nurses Take on Miami. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I went to a Black Health Summit on, I believe that was a Thursday. And I was really good, a lot of networking with pharmaceutical reps, other nurses, doctors. It was very inspirational to collaborate with other African American healthcare providers. Then on Friday, I went to the nurses. It was a scrub fashion show, nurse scrub fashion show, where I met some amazing people. A lot of the nurse influencers that are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok were there. It was really nice. It was very upscale, white flowers everywhere, banners, white banners. It was, oh my gosh, I had an amazing time in Miami. Very nice. And then on Saturday night, I went to oh my gosh, Saturday night, I went to the gala. It was a gala for nurses. And we had the nurse who started Mael Hair Products. Her name is Rodriguez. Her last name is Rodriguez. She is a nurse millionaire. And there are several nurse millionaires. A lot of them can start their own hair care product line. Mane, Mane. There was a nurse who started Mane many years ago, and I think it's been bought out by a different company. But that was started by a registered nurse. Also, Tracy Lynn jewelry line that was sold for 100 million. That's also, she was an LPN. So that's really exciting just to know that nurses are out there doing their thing and making money. So today, my co-host Corey, how you doing, Corey? Corey, that's right. Over the weekend, both of my boys graduated from Virginia State University in pre-med. So I have one that's definitely getting ready for the MCAT. He's going to medical school in the spring. And my oldest son he's decided to go into nursing. So he's getting ready to start, and he will be able to start in the spring also. So I'm really excited to have two boys graduating college. Amazing. And we were at Virginia State. Did y'all see? We went viral. Where them fans at? Boots on the ground. We had a ball in there. And I also threw them a nice graduation party. So it was really, really nice. But now this week, I'm just coming back. I go out and we're talking about group homes. I know you probably see my shirt. Uh, in a tent, no. Homeless shelter, no. And then under a bridge, no. Maybe a group home on here. So I want to make sure y'all see my t-shirts. So I'm very supportive of group homes. That's where multiple people can live together who maybe have financial challenges. They can't afford a apartment by themselves. They cannot afford first and last month's rent. So they end up having a group home, which is they're renting a room. And sometimes, if a person may have some non-medical or medical needs, you may also have a live-in. So you can have licensed or unlicensed homes. It depends on what your specialty is and what you focus on. I mean, they have group homes. I just came back from one of the largest homeless shelters here in Richmond, Virginia. And I mean, I was talking out there to a lot of people, and I wish I had aired some of this. I should have did some videos, but I was so excited. Oh my gosh, we pulled up there. We were trying to get in and no one would let us in. So we're like, okay, we saw a crowd on the other side. Let's just walk around the building. Walked around the building. Oh my gosh, everyone was there and they were giving out free phones today. And then they had a group who was doing showers and giving out clothes. And oh my God, I got so excited. I completely forgot to pull out my camera and start interviewing. I'm just interviewing people. My friend, my fellow coworker, she has two group homes and she's looking for a live-in and she's looking for a client. So we were out there for probably less than 2 hours and we found at least four clients for a non-medical who needed housing, and they have non-medical needs such as they're using a wheelchair walker or a cane to get around, and they need someone to assist them every day, making sure they're bathing, making sure they're getting food, helping them with their laundry, cooking, cleaning, running errands, making sure they go to their doctor's appointments. So we had an absolute ball. We met at least four potential clients. We're so excited. They have Medicare and Medicaid, which is a plus. In addition to that, we also found some live-in caregivers. Oh my gosh. And also I found some other caregivers who live around the corner to some of the people who were out there. Some of the people who were out there were not homeless. They just needed the services. So they were on, SSI or Social Security, and they were out there to get a free phone, or they were out there to get the free clothes or what have you, but they had housing. So I was connecting some people out there with the people who may need help. I was really excited. Then I found a couple of couples with clean background checks who were interested in being live-ins to assist my friend who has two group homes. So we made progress, and also met several men out there who do construction, plumbing, electrical work, HVAC, do landscaping. I was like, where y'all been? All of these guys, they've had previous injuries to their back and they lost their jobs, or some of them have been divorced. So they were out there and I was able to network with them because my girlfriend also has real estate. So she was looking for somebody to help her with some of her real estate items. So we were like so excited that we were able to find people and we were able to start offering jobs for people. Oh my gosh, we were just excited. I got so excited. Like I said, I forgot to pull out my camera and videotape. I was like, but we have the dates for next month. And we're going to get there early, like 8 in the morning, and we're going to have stuff ready, and we're going to do our videos, and we're going to be talking to people, and we're going to be going live talking about how people end up in homeless shelters and what are some solutions that we can come up with. One of them that we like to focus on is group homes. That's maybe providing housing for people. That means they're living in a house, but they're renting a room. They may share a bathroom, they may share the kitchen and common spaces with other people. So and it's really nice. I've been over to my friends' group homes, and it's very, very nice. I've also had my own group home. It's very nice, and I have people who are there. So we're helping the community by providing for a service, and people need housing. You would be surprised how many people who are driving to the homeless shelter and have their cars there. I talked to a man, I've seen him several months there, and he's like, I have a Volvo, and he went and showed me his car. He has a car, very nice car, but he does not have housing. So we're trying to come up with some solutions. So Corey, you had some questions about group homes. Go ahead. Okay. Okay, if you want to get started in nursing, I definitely would say start at the community college. Do not go to these big for profits. You can get the same education for less money. Okay. So I would go to the community college, go talk to the they should have somebody who will talk to you about scheduling, an advisor, and talk to you about your entrance test. Also the classes that you need to take, and also your pre-nursing entrance exams. So when I went to community college, we had to take reading, math, science. They wanted to know your baseline. Then we also had to take our prerequisites to nursing school. And then right before we got into the nursing program, we had to take our pre-nursing exam, and that could be either the HESI or it's one more test, but normally it's the HESI. Now, my son just took it. He scored a 70. That's really high, but he has a 4-year degree. So, but most places require a 50 or 60 to get in. So I know my son will be able to get in a nursing program in the fall. I'm really excited. So those are some of the ways you can get in. And also make sure you have your personal life in order, because it is very hard. Most people are not successful because they do not have control of their personal life. You need to make sure you have a place to live. Make sure that place is going to be the place you stay when you begin your nursing and to your end of your nursing school. Also, make sure you saved up and properly planned. I mean, I had some students with 2 and 3 cars. Really? Do you really need all this? You might want to downsize to something that's reliable and you don't have all of these bills, because once you get in nursing school, you're going to need all of your time to study. Okay. So we want students who are really focused on nursing, sleep, eating, and then nursing. That's it. Nothing else. Sleep, eat, nurse. That's it. When you are in nursing school, it is rough. Okay. So those are some of the things. All right. Next question, Corey. Now, some of the benefits of somebody with disabilities, and like I was saying, when we went out to the homeless shelter today, some of our potential clients would be those who are using wheelchair walkers, canes, and scooters. And you will have people out there like that. People will be surprised. One disability, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, one disability could make you homeless. I mean, I have people out there, you can talk to them. They got sick, something happened, they were hit by a car. They were in the hospital for 2, 3, 4, 6 months. Okay, if you have an apartment, your stuff is on the curve. Okay, it's gone. Um, so these people end up losing everything. They have nothing. They end up coming out of a hospital, or rehab, and going straight to a shelter. That's where they're released from the hospital to a shelter. So those are the persons who you can partner with to be clients, or you can help. If you want to make some extra income, you can go get someone who needs assistance from a shelter, and you can provide non-medical care. That means providing care for them for making sure they're taking their bath, changing their clothes, doing their laundry, cooking, cleaning, running errands, making sure they go to the doctor's offices, make sure they do their appointments. So those are some of the things that you can get compensated for if you want to help a family member, or if you want to help someone, like I said, if you find at a homeless shelter. Now, when you find someone, make sure, take your time to learn if this person is a good candidate for your place. Okay. Please do not pick any and everyone. I am a woman. I have what is it called? A sense about people. I can feel, if this person is a threat to me, or if this person is, a warm, welcoming person, if this is a person I want to be around. Just Thursday, I went to one bank. I was planning to go to one bank. I ended up at another bank, and I was coming back. I was running low on gas. I pulled up at the 7-Eleven, and lo and behold, there is a man sitting there in a wheeled walker, and he is homeless. I can tell, look at his bags. He has a sleeping bag he's sitting on, and he has 2 duffel bags beside him. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I walked in there and pumped my gas, and I said, oh my gosh, I need to talk to this man. So I said, how are you doing, sir? What's going on that you need some help? And he said, he had been put out of his place. There were new owners to the house he was at, and the sheriff office came out and put him and several of the residents put their belongings on the curb and put them out. And they were gentlemen there from 60 to 88 years old, and they just put them on the curb. And they could not grab any of their belongings because they had given them a 30-day notice. And people don't believe the police are not coming to help you, to move you when they give you a 30-day notice. They are coming to say, you had 30 days. Whatever you don't have, you're not going to get. Goodbye. And everything else we're going to put on the curb. and you can't touch it until after we put everything there and leave. And people were coming by stealing the men's stuff because it was just out there on the street corner. So I meet this gentleman, and he's like, they took my TV, they took my microwave, they took all of the. He said they took my clothes. I only have 2 outfits in my bag, and what I have on. So, I left and I kept thinking about this man all day. I said, I'll be back at 5 because it was around 11 when I went to see him, when I ran into him. And I realized, I'm like, I have 3 beds at my house, and I kept feeling good about this person. I didn't feel afraid of him. I had a good sense of him. And then I also went into the 7-Eleven and talked to the cashier. Well, she's known him since childhood. So, and then the other man who was in there, who works there, he knows him because the man had been sleeping behind the 7-Eleven for the last couple of days. So I called my house manager. I was like, I think I got a prospect. I'm talking to this man and he's really, really nice. So I was like, okay, I said, okay, let me see your ID. I took pictures of all his ID, sent them to, my staff at my home care agency, and also to my staff at the group home. And I was like, well, we're going to take him home. So, and I only did that because I felt good about it. Okay. If I felt threatened, I would not have picked this gentleman up, but I picked him up. He was so happy. I dropped him off at my home. I went out and got him blankets, pillows, linen. I also got washing powder and detergent. I was like, take everything. And I got him a new outfit. I said, take everything off. It's going to be washed because we want to make sure we don't get any bed bugs or anything that he brings in the house. I got him shampoo, washing cloth. I got him paper plates, paper towels, cups, napkins. I got him some snacks for the next few days because we were going to the food bank yesterday. So he had to wait a couple of days to go to the food bank. So I made sure he had some comforts from home, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, things that we take for granted if you already have your own home, but someone who is out living on the street, they have nothing. So I went and got him straight. And then this morning I went by there and he was like, oh my gosh, thank you. You saved my life. He was like, I'm so happy. And then of course he asked me the main thing. Can you get me some cigarettes and a beer? Because I'm going to tell you right now, nothing makes them happier than cigarettes and beer. So for some reason, everybody is on cigarettes and beer. Most, I would say 80%. So I went and got him. He was like, I don't get paid into the 3rd. Can you just hold me over? And I was like, okay. So I got him, his essentials. So now he's happy. All right. Did I answer that question? Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. And then I would say a couple weeks ago, I'm in a backpacks for the homeless group, and they're always trying to get me to go talk to someone. And I'm like, okay, I'll go talk. They're like, this person, we've been talking to him for weeks and months. He needs a place to stay. And they had donated half of my furniture for my house. And I was like, okay. So I'll normally go to these meetings. And then after the meetings, we go visit whoever they're talking about. Well, a couple of weeks ago, after the meeting, we went to visit this gentleman. I mean, I was mesmerized by him. He was neat, clean. He didn't even look homeless. He looked really good. I was like, wow, I would have never guessed he was homeless. And we were talking back and forth. I took pictures of him. I took pictures of his ID. I called my house manager. I said, these people are here. They've been talking to this man for weeks and months. They donated the furniture for my house. How do you feel about this person? I showed him. People say, oh, wow, I think he looks good. He looks great. Bring him over. So, and we all agreed he would come over, but he has a background check that's not going to pass. So I couldn't pay him. So I said, look, for right now, I can offer you room and board, but you're going to have to cook and clean. And that may change over time. But for right now, I can offer you that. And he was like, I was like, are you ready to go tonight? And he was like, no, come back tomorrow. I gotta go get my belongings there in several places. And I was like, okay. Came back the next day. He was nowhere to be found. That was in the morning. Then I came back in the evening, still nowhere to be found. The next 2 days, I'm coming out, and the backpack people are calling me, going, do you have him? Do you have him? I'm like, we haven't seen this man. So, and that happens all the time. Then also I was out there, and there was a lady and her son. They were living in their van. He at the 7-Eleven. Here we go again. I'm running into people at the 7-Eleven all the time. And I was like, okay, ma'am. She was like, I need help. I need to go to Social Security office. Da, da, da. I need this. I need that. I was like, ma'am, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll have my driver come pick you up and take you to social services to get what you need. We called her at 3 o'clock. I'm saying, my driver is coming to pick you up and take you to social services with your son. They had an old rundown van that the front window was bashed in. She calls me back going, oh my gosh, someone stole all of our stuff while we were sleeping in the van. Really? You nor your son could hear somebody come into your van. I'm confused. So, and then she was like, no, we can't go. I'm too upset. I can't go today. Okay, how about tomorrow? Called her tomorrow, the next day. I'm like, it's 3 o'clock. We're ready. She was like, they close at 4. I don't think it's enough time. We're going to just go tomorrow and catch an Uber on our own. I'm like, you really don't need my services. You know? So, and then this lady, here she go again. She's in a walker, sitting down. She has, her legs are swollen. She's smoking, of course. She looks very homeless. Her fingernails are really dirty. Her face she looks sunburned. She's almost my color, and she was Caucasian. I mean, her skin looked horrible. But, you know, and they don't want to go. Sometimes you have to look at this person and go, there's something going on else. There's something else going on. You know, someone can be well put together and still on drugs. I mean, it's a lot of different things, but you know, I didn't take it personal. I just said, you know what? I guess this person is not for me. Okay. And then I've run into another situation. There was a girl who was out, you know, she had her little sign out, you know, donate to me. I need help. I'm homeless. And I started talking to her. She said she had on a red bandana. Is that a Crip or a Blood? I think she was a Blood. And she started saying, you know, I'm out here. I'm a member of a gang. They're looking for me. I'm trying to get away and what have you. I was scared right there. I said, okay, this person is not for me. I'm a little nervous just standing out here. Well, I didn't get out my car. I was in my car talking to her. And I was like, this is not the person for me. I don't feel good. I'm not feeling good in my spirit about this person. So I was like, I'm not going to, that's not the person for me. I had another lady, she was on the side of the road with a sign, and her and her boyfriend were out there. She was like, oh, we need a place to stay. We need a place to stay. So I left, I had an appointment. I came back and I said, okay, I have another appointment today. I'm going to go to my appointment. I'll come back with my house manager, let him meet you, see if y'all are fit for this situation. I called her. It's raining. I'm like, I'm coming out. You know, where y'all at? We're back in the woods. We're far away. And it's raining. And I was like, yeah, that's why I was coming to make sure, you know, y'all are not getting wet. And she didn't want that. She was like, it's too late. It's 9 o'clock at night, pouring down rain. They'd rather stay in a tent than come out to meet us to see if, you know, if we mesh. So then the next day we called them again. Okay, the sun is out. We want to come meet you. And they were like, we don't know you well enough to see where you're at. You know, I was like, okay, this person is not for me. So I'm like, and then my husband was like, I don't feel good about them. So we had to say, you know, we're not gonna extend the invitation to them. Now, if you're gonna meet someone, you can meet them more than one time. Have some references. If you meet someone at a homeless shelter, ask the people that work there about this person, okay? I I have a person I met, he was a lawyer. He's still with me. Okay, he's a lawyer. Checked his references and everything. I'm like, how are you a lawyer and you end up in a homeless shelter? I know why now. He's still with me. He has a clean background check. I was able to put him to work. Whew, but he got some ways, okay? But he has 4 college degrees. He is a lawyer. I don't think he's holding the job very well. So he can do something at home that's simple, non-complex. He cooks every night. He's helping the residents, and like I said, he's a lawyer. He has a lot of issues going on. A lot of times, people can't hold jobs or what have you because they have some mental issues going on. They may have anxiety, they may have depression, they may be manic or bipolar, so they may be up and down. I mean, I've had people who are with me for a year, and I'm like, okay, are you really taking your medicines? Okay, I don't think so. I'm taking them. No, you're not, because you're acting crazy. I can tell that you are not having a good day, and I have to put my foot down. Because they'd be like, oh, can I come by the office? Can I do this? No, because you're not taking your medicines. I need you to take your medicines and get calm. When you get calm, then I'll come and take you out in public and we can do other things together. But right now, you bouncing around here crazy. This could be no. And you might not want to say crazy. I've had them long enough. I can tell them when they're crazy. But but otherwise, I would say yes. You need to take your medicines. I'm gonna need you to calm down, okay? And a lot of times, like this gentleman who I just met on Thursday, this morning when I met him, he was like, I don't have any medicines. And I was like, oh. So I said, first thing Monday, we're going to get, he's like, Monday is a holiday. Okay, Tuesday, we're going to call wherever you're getting your medicines filled. We're going to explain the situation. And if it's not a narcotic, he can get it filled again. So those are some of the things that we're going to do. Make sure these people get their medicines. We make sure they're on Medicaid. If they are not on Medicaid, we're going to get them on Medicaid. And because if they're in a homeless shelter, they probably qualify. And then the other thing is making sure if they're going to be a client, we're going to focus on what are their disabilities, what are some of the needs they have that we can fulfill. So those are some of the things that I've been going with the gentleman I just met the other day. And but we were all happy and got him those cigarettes. He's fine now. Any other questions, Corey? We had some questions on TikTok or where? Oh, okay, okay. We can just shoot them off. I can give a quick answer. We got 3 minutes. Go ahead, shoot them off real quick. Number one is making sure they pay their rent because maybe the reason why they're homeless is because they don't want to pay rent. So sometimes you got to put your foot down and move some property and say you're going to pay your rent, or put them on a schedule where you have access to their income, where you can make sure they're paying their rent. Also, make sure they're getting food. I take my people to the food bank 3 times a week. And then also personalities. Oh my gosh. Woo. Sometimes you got to make sure that people mesh together well. Put a client and an aide together, or also 2 clients and 2 aides are bickering over foolishness all the time. Somebody moved something, somebody took their food, somebody didn't put something out back in the refrigerator. They leave food out all night. Really? Food that you get from the food bank. No one has enough common sense. So sometimes you have to get on them and say, okay, somebody got to take responsibility. And I have to sign someone responsible. And then they're going to have to send me pictures. What are y'all cooking for, everybody? How are you presenting it to them? Who ate what? Who's cleaning the kitchen? You have to make assignments. So it's a lot of personalities that are going on. Okay. Next question. Well, you can have unlicensed group homes, and that means that you allow people to come into your house, rent a room. They might not have any medical needs. You're just renting rooms to people. They can do short term, month to month, week to week, and you can also do, they can sign a yearly lease. You can do professional group home where you have doctors and nurses who come on travel assignments. You can also do insurance company. They rent out houses for people or rent out rooms. It's so many. As you have sex offender houses. There's so many different options. You can have a Muslim only option where you reach out to Muslim churches and they only want people who are Muslim to have a house instead of going to a hotel. All of them from the church congregate, when people come to town. So it's different opportunities and different kinds of homes that you can have. You can have people who just eat kosher food. You can have the LBGT community. You only rent out to LGBT people and they only want to be around like individuals in their home. So they'll be happy. So it depends on what your niche is. Now, if you want a licensed group home, that can be people who have intellectual disabilities. That can be foster care. Anything with children is definitely going to be, the state has to be in it. And that's a lot of monitor. They may monitor once a month or children once a week. So it depends on, that's how they're regulated. So you have the option of group home, licensed or unlicensed. Take your pick. Next question. It depends. If you're unlicensed, and if you have people who have non-medical or don't have any needs, you don't have to have a staff there. You can rent out a room to someone. You put the lock on it that puts the number key in pad in it, and with each client, you just change the keypad, and they can come and go as long as they have access to the keypad, and that's it. So you don't have to have any staff member there. They come to a clean room. You ask them to leave it the way they found it, and that's it. Now, if you have, it depends on what's going on and the types of people that you have in your home as to if you need a staff. Now, if you have a licensed home, yes, you're going to need staff, and normally that's 24 hours. Okay. If you have mental health services, depends on, you may have to have a registered nurse, or even assisted living facility. You have to have a registered nurse. Depends on what state you're in. You can have also a CNA. You can have a med tech. So in the license, they require more time, and the person has to have some type of license or criteria that they have met by the state to be able to assist you or assist your residents. So those are it. Well, thank y'all for tuning in for our talk on group homes. We're going to come back in a few minutes and talk about, what's our next topic, Corey? Nursing news. So tune in. Give us about 5 minutes.